Welcome back to Hurley's Hobbies. Today we're going to continue on the wings, and now let's get back to the build. Alright, you see I got this one ready. I tapered it down some on my saw. So what I did is I took it here, set it here, marked that side where the bottom rib is. Set it here, mark this side, make sure it's not on top of the rib. Marked it. I flipped it over, transferred my lines over to the other side because I already have it set up on the table. And I used my template that I made for these wings for this. So I bring it over here, put my paper down, got my paper on it. Pinned my paper all the way through into my board to hold the wood still. Pinned it down here, pinned it in the middle all the way into the board. And then marked it. That's how I got my line. So I'm going to take it to my sander and sand that in there. So now I got it close on my sander. It just about follows the edge. There might be a little bit there, but that's not going to hurt nothing. So now I can take it back over there and sand it down some to try to get it like this one. This one's still a little high because that's got to come down, but I want to take the aileron off and sand it to that curve. So there it is. Really hard to hold on to that on that bench sander, but at least I got a lot of it tapered down so I don't have to sand as much with the block. And I'm going to glue it in place. Now we're going to start on our wings, ends, tips, however you want to say. We got balsa. So now that that's glued and set, I'm actually going to go over it with hold it together and go over the whole thing with thin CA. Alright, there's a 3/4 inch block that goes here. There's a 1/4 inch block that goes here. And then this has to fit over the wing and sets flat here. And it goes like that. You might have to stretch it out a little bit to make it work. Because the plans, if you set it and glue it exactly on the plans, it makes it tighter together, but it actually needs to be stretched out. But before they say to just glue it, but I want to sand that taper in there on mine. So that's what I'm going to do now. We got our 3/4 inch block, our 1/4 inch block. So I just noticed this corner sticks out past because this, I should have sanded this back more. I should have actually notched that in. But I'll have to resand this curve now. I don't have a choice. I already glued it. So because they didn't notch it far enough, and now I see it on the inside. It's supposed to come in, but it's too late for that. So I'll just have to resand this. I'll have to do the same thing with this one. So they're the same. So I wanted to show you, I got this wing covered on the front. I also got these bracings in to help stiffen the front spar. I haven't done the rear spar yet. You only go up to this rib on this side, on the inside of this spar. You put that 3/16 balsa in there, your scrap pieces, but you only go up to here. I haven't done the other wing, and that's what I'm going to show you now. And let's get to it. Alright, I have my sheeting already prepared. I spliced it. Since I put the splice in the bottom one here, I'm putting the splice on this one down here. I have 45'd it, spliced it together, glued it, cut it a little bit long, and now I'm going to set that aside because I want to do the in between ribbing here, the stiffener for the spar. I want to do that first, but before I do it, you got to make sure you pull all your pins out, and I usually pull them out and I stick them in one of the wing ribs on an angle. I'm going to leave my weights in here just to help hold it down. I'm going to take my scrap left over from this piece, and I'm going to start cutting it to the size. I already have one cut to the size. I already checked it, and it's the right size. So that's all I'm going to do is go down, cut them all, and I'll start placing them in. And so also while we're on the wing subject, they actually don't want you to do this until one of the last things. The problem I have with that is you already took this wing off your jig because they want you to put all your blocks in for your wing struts. They want you to put all your servo stuff in. And it's one of the last things they have you do, the way I understand the manual, is come in and put this webbing in after this front's done. The only way I can understand it is they want to be able to get in here to glue underneath, which if you've done many wings, you know you put medium CA on all this and then you flip it into it. So, I mean, I have a lot of experience with that. So I'm more concerned with the strength of the wing by moving it and then coming back and trying to put it back in. Because right now I know it's straight. I know it's flat. That's why I want to do it now. So I don't want my wing to have a chance to bowl or the other way. So I just want to explain it. They actually don't want you to do this now, because they're going to have you take it off. You're going to have to flip it over. You're going to notch out some of this 3/32 balsa on the bottom to put those blockings in for your wing struts up here anyways. So just letting you know, they don't want you to do it yet. While I'm putting these in, I'm not going all the way down to the bottom of the bottom of the plans. I'm leaving mine up that 3/32 off the bottom. I'm only going on this spar, and I'm staying probably a 30 seconds away from the bottom sheet balsa. All right, I got all those in. So now I'm going to come back and I'm going to take medium CA and I'm going to hit the front going up to here on every corner. I'm going to hit the bottom and I'm going to hit the sides as much as I can. And break that way. I know this is strong. I can't get up underneath, but even if you had the covering on and you had put these in later, you still wouldn't be able to get up underneath. So I'm happy with that. So that's what I'm going to go through now and start medium CNA all the joints. That's all set. So now I'm going to come through and I'm going to put this on. And it pretty much goes flush with the spar right here. First, I probably better make sure I'm not sticking over anywhere. Alright, we're going to put this piece on. This side's my better looking joint. So this is the side I'm going to flip up. Make sure you sand to this rib. This rib's a little bit lower, so you got to sand this down to it. Make sure you come through and block it at least up to here to make sure there's nothing sticking up. Take some medium CA. Okay, some people might be a little intimidated by putting covering on. You might have seen on that side when I did it, there's a couple spots that were loose on this top part. If it's loose on this top part or this outer lip, that's not a big concern to me because you can always wick CA in there. My biggest concern when I put covering on a wing, especially over an angle, is the ribs. I want the ribs stuck. That's my main concern, is the ribs. I mean, I do put thick CA along here, but if it ends up not sticking, I can always come back and add thin around the edges. And even out here. My biggest concern is the ribs. So, I might, and keeping it straight along the spire, your back edge, you got to make sure that's straight before you start. You don't want where you splice to kick off or nothing. So when you splice it, you got to make sure it's straight. But my biggest concern is the ribs when I'm putting these on. And this is not that much of an angle. Normally I would, if it was a really steep curve, I would wet the covering down with Windex. Soak it with Windex on both sides, wipe it off, let it set for a little bit, and it'll soften. You can almost take that and ball it right around a curve, to a circle, sorry. Something with the Windex, the ammonia or something in it. It really softens the wood up, and it doesn't have no effect on the end product. And another thing, don't forget to put, when you put the webbing in, and you do this webbing on the front of this one, don't forget to put the little webbing in here. Get a little webbing here and here. Well, that's going to do it for this video. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe, hit that bell, like, and comment if you would, please. And keep building.